his statement and left. He described the invitation as the hazard of the job. In fact, the invitation is believed to be related to the NLC's recent protests and strikes. Well, that's just a belief. It may not be indeed a statement of fact to take home by, but then when you also consider some of the concerns that, a faction of Nigeria, are having in this regard, you might probably want to understand the momentum that they put into it. Some questions, are put out there. Ajaero had made some of the quotes where he said, "We will not be intimidated. We will continue to fight for the rights of Nigerian workers." In fact, Falana had said, "The police have no basis inviting Ajaero. It's a ploy to silence the NLC," and that's where the fear comes. Could this indeed be a ploy to silence the NLC? And if you would agree with me that the NLC is the Nigeria Labour Congress, when you get to silence the labor, what will be the lot of every other Nigerian, right? And so, is it that the police invitation was the tactics to silence the NLC and suppress workers' rights? What is the real reason behind the police invitation? And is it connected to the recent NLC protest? Will this incident escalate tensions between the government, police, and labor unions? These are some other questions that Nigerians are asking. In fact, there is one that comes through, and is coming from the place of possibilities. The invitation, was it some sort of diversion from the recent raid on the NLC Secretariat complex, which has been widely criticized? Or the police may be trying to shift attention from their own actions and justify their raid on the NLC premises, right? Of course, quite a lot is going on. In fact, there are implications to this. Now, one of such implication will be the fact that the incident, if not well checked, may further erode trust in the Nigeria police force and its ability to remain impartial. And it could also damage Nigeria's reputation, internationally, especially relating particularly to human rights and labor rights. And then you might also want to consider, the place of the incident emboldening other groups to challenge the government and police, and which might not really augur well, because it might lead to increased tensions and political unrest. But I should also, just before connecting with our guest again, I should bring you up to speed with what was said with regards to his invitation. Was one of the strong allegations would have been about, it was on terrorism gains. They call it a financial terrorism amongst others. But then, having gone through the entire process, in fact, it was said that he got into the IRT, right? And of course, he came out almost immediately. Not like he spent a couple of times, maybe 30 minutes or so, and came out. And after coming out, said they let him go. They let go of him after he gave his statement, and labeling the allegations against him as baseless. Baseless? Baseless. Well, Mr. Benedict, that was what went down. I mean, these concerns, have been there. But then it makes you want to say, what was the whole brouhaha about the entire time, as well as from the place of the Nigeria police himself?
Well, this is where I want to put it. Was the NLC office raid? The answer is a no. There is no proof to that. What the police said was that the building, there is a tenant in the building who they have an issue with and whose premises was searched. And they have not gone there during the day because there are other tenants, banks and others that do business. So if they come in the daytime, it might hamper the business and the peace of the environment. So if you are the landlord to a tenant and you also live in the house and your tenant has a case with the police, now you and the tenant is a foreigner, for instance, as this case is, I think that asking you a few questions as to what you know about your tenants, right, or about the matter at hand is not out of place. The NLC has a tenant that has a case. At least that's what the police is saying, to answer with them. So if they call him for clarifications, which they have done in a civil letter, right, I don't think that that is going too far. And I don't think that that is intimidating or witch hunting the Labour Congress. NLC was not the one that called out for the national protest from 1st to 10th of August. So for them to now say it was meant to divert attention, I don't think so. They did not call out that protest, and they did not lead the protest in any way. So for me, I think we should separate sentiments from issues. Issues of terrorism are global issues that we need to be worried about. We already have enough insurgency in our hand to handle than to allow new means. If you go around and you check global movement of funds, money laundering, terrorism, and the rest of that, you will realize that they go in layers. That's why it's called money laundering. You wanted to use it for the purpose of crime, it could come in any subtle manner. It could come in the name of furnitures or property or even school. So, therefore, the police calling to ask anybody in the course of his investigation. I don't think that we have a law in Nigeria that says there is someone who cannot be interrogated.
Right.
That's the practical reality. The people, even those who have immunity, it's not from interrogation or investigation. The immunity is against prosecution. So if the issue is still at the realm of investigation, I think that it is the NLC that was blowing it out of proportion. And we have that common with several people in the land who cannot separate between the powers of their office and the moral responsibility of their individuals. We think about privileges and not about responsibilities. It is the responsibility of the NLC to contribute to ensuring that such matters of investigation are properly and diligently followed up, so that no gaps are left, so that the criminal will not escape. When you have nothing to fear, right, if you are not involved in any way, you should be able to say it as it is. You should be able to say what you know. Okay, he came like every other person. He wants to run a bookshop. He wants to do a business. We gave him a space. But we don't know anything about his background. His immigration, they should ask. You can now say that, look, he is already in Nigeria. He lives here before he came to you to rent or whatever. We don't know what the details are. But I think that people should not preempt investigations and we should not stifle processes. Yes, there is a huge gap of mistrust between the people and the government and between the people and the police. Yes, the police say the police is your friend. The Okada man in my neighborhood will tell you police is not my friend.
Right.
Right? He says it, they says it clearly, police is not their friend. And that is the reality. Because maybe in some part of the town, at some point on the day, he carries a passenger for 150, the police will collect 100 naira from him. So that way he doesn't see how the policeman is his friend, at least as far as the BRG environment or the Kubwa environment is concerned. Right. So the element of mistrust is there. Different people have reason not to trust the system. However, if a letter has been written, not that some masked men hijacked him on the way and took him away, a letter was officially written, come to so and so place because we need information from you on an ongoing investigation. So for me, it is not even an accusation against him, right? It is not an accusation against him. The fact that they need you to provide information relating to a matter that is pending has not amounted to accusation or preferring charges. So I just think that it's a case of, is it call the dog a bad name so that you can hang it? Yes, people have issues and backlog with the police, but I don't think that they should be stopped in the event of an investigation. They have not take laws into their hand to stop him on the way and throw him in the boot of their car as it used to be in the years past. So to me, that's fine. Yes, will we see NLC as the defender of the people? The answer also is, for me, it's a no. NLC is a defender of his own people. And that's why when they think they can call out strike anyhow. When you call out strike, yes, the government will lose. But they realize the number each time we shut down the system. 80% of the people working do not work for the government. They earn their daily living. So when you make it impossible for them to earn, you are actually increasing the poverty and the hardship in the land.
Okay.
Majority of us do not depend on the government. When you call crisis and the miscreants go out and they damage cars, majority of our cars are on third-party insurance that does not cover arson. So they are personal loss. When shops are looted, our shops are not insured. And so even if you know what has been lost there, there is no way to get it back. So we are not an insuring nation. And so when people lose, it is a total loss to the individual. So for me, NLC is not standing for me, neither is it standing for the masses. They are standing for the few of them, less than 15%, earning salary. Those who are not earning salary, most times do not directly benefit from any of, at least in the recent years, from any of the activities coming from labor. Because they do not tend to speak for the people, they speak for their members, which of course is their constitutional duty by the law of association that brought them into office.
I'll put a peg to your thoughts right now. Let's just go take a breather. We'll be right back in a short bit. This is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. We give you an audiovisual radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day. Get across social media platforms and see for yourself the ambience and the serenity in the studio. And as you do so, via the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, that's formerly Twitter handles, do well to also allow your presence to be felt. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Welcome to Feminism Friday, where every Friday is a celebration of gender equality and empowerment. Tune in to Eagles FM 102.3 from 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Friday for inspiring talks on gender roles, women's rights, and inclusivity. Join us for inspiring conversations, insightful discussions, and the best part is that you get to contribute and be part of the program. The show will spotlight the champions of feminism and offering actionable steps for a just and equitable Nigeria. Feminism Lab,
Oh my gosh.
where your voice makes a difference. Take action with us now. The program is a production of Feminism Lab, sponsored by Friedrich Ebert Stiftung, Nigeria.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, the thing where they happen for my area, eh?
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG, who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on I Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Get the desired clients for your business and service and get your phones buzzing. From the 1st of September to the 31st of December, you can advertise and reach a large audience with the Eagles FM Ember Months package. Advertise on any of our platforms and get a whopping 30% discount. That's right, 30% discount. For more information, please call 080 5919 8658 or 081 5791 7278. The Eagles FM 102.3 FM Ember Package is a sure way to getting a wider clientele for your business and service.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
All right, we're still talking about the issues that concern, the invitation of Joe Ajaero, who happens to be the NLC president, based on the invitation that was served to him by the Nigeria police, an arm of the Nigeria police right there. And it seemed as though he is a free man, at least for now, walking out freely in company of his lawyer, Femi Falana, whom, of course, according to him, they have known each other. They've been acquaintances since during the Abacha, regime, that they've slept in cells together as activists, speaking for the people. And we still have our guest, who's in the person of Mr. Benedict Agunloye Olalikon. He's an information professional, policy and public affairs analyst. Now, what do you think about the story? What do you think about the whole show? As many Nigerians are saying, I mean, have we ever seen the NLC affiliate unions so united? I mean, 84 affiliate unions of the NLC came together, and they've been showing solidarity all day long, all the time, and all of that. But if you also recall, during the fight for this minimum wage increment, the TUC and the NLC at first didn't quite have an understanding. It was much later they decided to down their own tools, personal tools, and work together. But yes, this is the bone of it. Now, let me give you the numbers already. Remember, don't call the WhatsApp portal number. Just send a WhatsApp message only, no voice notes. And that WhatsApp number would be 0909-705-4450. Taking it again, 0909-705-4450. And the call or studio call number would be 0908-766. 8888. Taking it again, 0908 766 8888. Taking this call. All right, that's a miss, though. Keep the calls coming through and engage across social media platforms. Do be sure that I'll be here to herald your thoughts. Well, we're still speaking with you, Mr. Benedict. Are you there? Hello? Okay, so it seems as though there's a little bit of, loss there, but we'll just take this call while we try to connect back. Hello and good morning.
Yes, good morning, Yodi.
Yes, good morning to you,
and
please.
Good morning to our highlights in the listeners and callers. Felix from Lambata.
All right, Felix, welcome aboard. Let's get into it.
Yes, Yodi, I appreciate your guest, Mr. Benedict. He's doing very well, and he's still doing very well.
Right.
But I beg to disagree on one issue with him this morning. You see, Labour has not always come out on strike and protest or agitate for minimum wage alone. That has to do with government workers and maybe perhaps some private workers too. But Labour has, before in history and even before now, has been agitating for the welfare of all working men and women in Nigeria, the workforce. I remember on several occasions when against instant increase of fuel price, Labour will come out and say, no, bring down the price. It affects all of us. But some people are talking out of sentiment and are making it as if Labour is just out there to defend government workers and private workers and all that. Labour and the United of Nigerians are against anti-people's policies that has been implemented by government or has been initiated by government. Okay, take for instance the recent one that is ongoing, the 18 years minimum age for entry for NECO and WAEC and all that.
Right.
Okay, and we have 50 years age retirement, all right? But you look at the people are on top of at the top. Most of them are over 50 years. Are we saying okay? It is only when you are over 60 years you can rule Nigeria. You can, but you are not qualified. You are not able to work for Nigeria as a government worker or as a private worker under 60 years or when you are 60 years. But 70 years and 70-something years are eligible to be National Assembly members, governors, and presidents and all that. What kind of hypocrisy are we exhibiting to the world.
All right,
please, once we are talking, let's face it, labor is for the Nigerian workforce and for every one of us. Thank you very much. I'm not labor spokesperson.
All right, thank you so much, Felix. Felix from Lamberta right there, giving his thoughts as loudly as he could. Well, getting with you now, Mr. Benedict. I mean, that's what it is as it stands right now. But just before we get with you, let's just get to hear from another family member. Hello and good morning.
Good morning. This is Alami from Central Area.
All right, Alami.
I greet our guests. Our guests have said it all. And yes, Nigerian Labour Congress represents Nigerian workers. So every time people come, I want to throw support behind Labour. The question I ask them is, are you a civil servant? If you are not, then stop wasting your energy. Nigerian Labour Congress advocates primarily 99% of the time for workers who are its members. Having said that, the guests have said it all. We are gradually sliding into a nation of hypocrisy. Everything in Nigeria has been politicized. How many of us, like the guests have said, that you are a house owner, you are seeing a courtist, they are coming to your house to use your house as venue for courtesan meetings. There are armed robbers, you are giving your house to armed robbers, and knowing fully well that this is what they are doing. This hypocrisy, this is what I call Owambe hypocrisy, UD. We don't want to be logical in Nigeria anymore. That one of the tenants in the NLC building, was accused, and they found some incriminating terrorism funding activities to him. And Ajaero was invited as the landlord. And the people are blindly bringing politics to it. Oh, they want to silence her. The question is, who is Ajaero? How many times was Adam Sushomole picked up by the DSS? Was that also politically motivated? Look, when we are ready as a nation, we will all condemn and not be one-sided, always display this Owambe hypocrisy and always politicizing everything. At the end of the day, we do not have any place to call home other than Nigeria.
Right.
So let us continue with this hypocrisy and let's see where it takes us. Thank you so much.
All right, Alamin right there says we don't have any other place that we can call home, and if we don't want to grow, if we don't want to develop, we should continue with the hypocrisy. Well, Mr. Benedict, are we being hypocritical, in our country first of all, and then especially as we've handled, or as the labor, Ajaero, Nigeria Police Force, issue is being handled at the moment?
Yes, when you come to hypocrisy is rife in several areas of the country. Like I said, we have issues of we have the problem of not being able to separate people from issues. We have not grown to the point of separating the seemingly fact from what the truths are. It's not fact that are circumstance, because facts can change. It is the truth that cannot change. And so when myriads of facts and evidences are put before you, you need to seek for what exactly is the truth. Yes, unfortunately, the law is blind, as they say. It would only adduce to the person who tends to have produced the highest facts. So you get judgment based on facts in the realm of man. So sometimes it is not the whole truth. But the reality is, if we do not walk by the truth, if we do not seek the truth, then whatever we are doing will be shrouded in hypocrisy.
All right, let me put it back to your thoughts. Let me put it, just take this call. Hello and good morning.
Hello, Mr. Daniel.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, my brother. Thank you.
Yes,
what's your name?
I agree to your guest. My name is Hundu.
Hundu. All right, Hundu, welcome aboard.
Yes, I want to start by commending all the NLC officials and their members for standing by their chairman. You see, I want to remind your guests that on several occasions, the police have extended invitation to some notable Nigerians, because Ajaero is not just NLC chairman, it's an international figure. It's not just an ordinary citizen, others may want to argue. The police on several occasions, the DSL and the EFCC have extended invitations to high-profile persons, but on arrival, they kept them and detained them sometimes for weeks, for months. And one of those who was peacefully invited was my former governor, Gabriel Siswan. He was invited honorably, but upon arrival, he was questioned and detained for several weeks. And even Showere under Buhari, he was not just arrested, he was, invited. And upon arrival, the police arrested him and kept him for more than a year or so. So you see, maybe perhaps the NLC chairman and their members have access to information that we may not have and your guests might not have. And also the police might also have access to information that we do not have and we don't know about.
Right.
And also his lawyer, the Honorable San Farina must also have had access to some information that we don't have. Mm-hmm. But one thing for sure, who knows? If by not honoring their invitation on the day the police first invited him, and also by their members getting up to stand up for him, might have prevented what originally the police wanted to do. Because I can tell you that President Tinubu has a way of putting his people in positions that he wants for people who want to give him headache when it comes to negotiation. So a lot of us believe that probably someone somewhere wants to get this NLC chairman out of the way so that they can put in their man at the NLC. Yes, that perception can never be overruled.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Taken B right there saying, well, there is a perception that we are beginning to build, from the entire encounter. But then there's still some other angles and questions that need no answer to. But I should also put it out there, if you are already considering the question of whether or not the Nigeria police has the constitutional right to raid a home or a company with a valid warrant, especially when the individual refuses to accept the warrant, the answer would be the police can, but they have to follow a due process and respect the individual's right. But whereas the individual says, I'm not accepting this warrant, even after seeing the warrant, they refuse, they decide to disregard it, well, then the police can do that. They can actually raid it, explain the purpose and authority of the warrant, request the person to voluntarily allow entry. If refused, the police can force entry, but only to the extent necessary to execute the warrant. All right? So if they have to break the doors, break the wall, whatever they have to do, they will do it, all right, just to get in. Right? All right. Well, getting with you now, Mr. Benedict. Quite a number of angles, to this. But how will or can the government and NLC indeed find a peaceful resolution to this issue? Or will it escalate into further conflict? From your own observation, of the matter?
Well, I don't think it should escalate into anything. Ajaero has been requested to come. He has come. He has made his statement. He has right to his lawyer, and he's gone there with his lawyer. So, which means that by right, we expect that he has not been compelled to sign anything that is not the truth. So, if what he has stated in his statement is the truth, to the extent that it will be useful to the police, they will use it. But if they have doubt that there are information that are hidden, then he can still be reinvited. It's an ongoing investigation. It does not tantamount to an arrest. And it does not tantamount at this stage to the fact that Ajaero had committed any crime. So I want people to put that at that. And then, of course, conjectures of they want to remove him, they want to do this, they want to do that. I think that we should allow our sentiment for people to stay out of issues that are national values. When you treat issues that affect, that have wider implication, as with what you will call sentiment, eventually when it will boomerang, every one of us will come back to see. We don't have another nation that we will run to. Even when you go out there and you represent other country, you still always have your mind back, refocused on the fact that, oh, you have a home in Nigeria. So whether you live in the diaspora or you live around there, and I think that best practices will be.
Are you there? Okay, a little bit of network glitch now.
For the politicians. A politician has been invited for a matter of his own, and if his answer or his explanation are not right, and they decide to hold him back, or now he has appropriated or spent the money of his state, I don't think that you should compare it exactly to the Ajaero case. But clearly, when it's a former governor in a state where possibly teachers were not paid for 30 months, but now for me, that alone is a moral crime against humanity. So I don't think we should begin to compare. We should compare apple with apple, not comparing mango with pawpaw. They are two different things. Oh. Clearly, every case should be treated on its own merit, and I will continue to insist when there are matters and issues, separate people from issues. Deal with the issue as hard as you can. Be gentle and soft on the people as much as you can. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so if we run it at that part, we will be heading Sposa. Then I can resist the police, I can resist the government. But you know that there are other people that your act or action may affect. And so to a large extent, if we are calling for civil process, if we are calling for due process, they themselves who are in.
Well, we have heard, Mr. Benedict right there, just having a little bit of, connection problem. Mr. Benedict, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Benedict?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We lost your, submission, I guess due to network glitch. We lost, a bit of what you said.
Yeah, I think what I said last was issues should be treated as issues, and we can be hard on issues as much as we want.
Okay.
People should be treated as people, and we should deal with them with the gentleness and the carefulness that is required to handle life.
Right.
Now that when you begin to make viral comparison, sometimes it's not the truth. As we speak today, some NLC officials have domestic staff. Have they started paying them?
Okay, we've lost him. His thoughts again. Well, we'll get back with him in a short bit, but then he has asked some very strong questions, right? You have domestic, staff under you, even as an NLC person. Have you started, engaging in payments of these ones with the new minimum wages yet? Or you are still waiting on full implementation at this point, or you're waiting on the failures of, the seemingly inability of the federal government to ensuring that every parastatal and everybody that is involved would do the needful, as they've started with the states now, telling the states that, hey, you have to ensure that you leave by what has been signed into law. But we will get back with him. I'm hoping the network clears out now. But let's get with your message right now. I see this one. It says, good morning once again, UD. Good morning to you. And a very good morning to Mr. Benedict Olalekan. I'm sure he's also appreciative of that. Now, you're saying this in light of recent negotiations and the continued back and forth between the government and labor, it is only normal for the labor and its affiliated unions to feel there's more to the police investigation of Ajaero. There's a lot leading up to this point, especially with the denials and counter-denials of the raid of the labor headquarters. Let's remember, the security agencies initially denied knowing the building was the NLC headquarters, before further clarifying the raid was on a floor different from the one occupied by labor and linking it to the hashtag and bad governance protests. So I believe labor has earned its right to be suspicious of the police invite. And taking this one now from Honorable Edwards. Good morning, you say. Good morning to you too. My name is Honorable Edward from Apo. You say, does it mean that Mr. Ajaero also has immunity? All right, I should read that again. Does it mean Mr. Ajaero also has immunity? A president of NLC can be arrested at any time if him or her is involved in a crime. Can you remember that a Senate president of this country was invited by the police and he honored it? What is the big about honoring invitation by police? If your hands are clean, happy weekend and extend my greetings to our guest for doing a great job. All right, thank you so much, Honorable Edwards. Well, getting with you now, Mr. Benedict, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you might want to give us just a wrap on it because time would not allow us because as it seems to... The
wrap on it is simple. The police should be allowed to do his job. Nobody should be seen as muzzling it. From day one, NLC was trying to change the issue. If you have a building and you have tenants in the building, a visit to any of your tenants is not a visit to you. So saying that our office, they didn't say a tenant in the building was raided. What NSC put out there was that their office was turned upside down, as if the raiders came specifically for NLC.
But Mr. Benedict, they also said, and the documents were obtained. Documents were obtained. So that we don't also understand the scenario.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that the position of NLC after the raid was as if everybody in the building and every property in the building belongs to NLC. So to that extent, they have joined themselves by association to the raid. And so if you are calling for their chairman to come and answer question, I don't think it is too much.
Right.
However, I think that the people need to understand that the NLC or anybody apart from governors, their deputy, the president, and the vice president are not under any form of immunity. So they should be responsible to their position and they should be ready to be held accountable for what they have done within their stream of operation.
Okay.
And it is at that point that we will be able to say, oh, we have all agreed that the rule of law should prevail. But when you dodge invitation, when you dodge interrogation, when you block police duties, when you block normal things from happening, then of course you want them to go in the abnormal way.
Okay.
And I don't think that will be good for anybody at all.
Very well said. Thank you so much, Mr. Benedict Olaleko Agunloye. You are an information professional, policy and public affairs analyst. Well, I still see the calls coming through, but we cannot go any further. So I'm looking forward to having an engagement with you next week. I mean, over the weekend, you know that quite a number of things will happen. And yes, we will continue to engage to ensure that we got it rightly, in the words of one of the family members, Triple D, as he always says. Well, thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Uduak.
Yes, please. Have a great day. All right, having a great weekend too. Yes, it is the start of a great weekend, and this where we say bye-bye. Next week is yet another time. My name is Uduak Daniel.
Your #1 radio experience.